Organized by MBW Energy Support Services, Inc., with support from the local content secretariat, woman entrepreneur Abigail Long Watson is spearheading the one-day local content summit, which afford locals an appropriate platform to share their success stories and challenges in the oil and gas sector, particularly since the local content law came into effect in January 2022. No doubt local businesses have benefited, but the summit, as Long Watson articulated, is a push for equity. Among the features of the summit is an equity and connection room to allow for business-to-business sessions with the hope of using the occasion to foster partnerships.
Today's summit agenda is pretty simple. We will spend time discussing the local content policy and certification process, strategic business partnerships between local companies, addressing the advantages and risks of forming local consortiums, local participation, especially highlighting local content success stories.
Some 200 businesses and individuals are participating in the event. Vice President Dr. Barjak Dio addressed the short opening ceremony and clarified that the summit was supported by the government on one premise, that the government was ready to kickstart the discussions on legislative reforms.
We're not big fans of summits, as Abigail knows. We thought we would support one summit, a seminal major one once a year for Guyana, at which all of the discussions could take place. But we decided to work with Abigail at this summit, not just owing to the fact that she exudes a whole lot of energy and is very focused and has been so successful, but because we thought that the summit is sufficiently narrowly focused that it could allow us to bring great value in the discussions to the people of this country.
Jack Dio told the gathering at the Pegasus Corporate Suites in Kingston, Georgetown, that the government will use the summit to clarify its position, but also intends to pay keen attention to the feedback from local businesses and individuals.
So we're watching all of those issues. As I said before, we'll be listening to what comes out today, both the success stories and the challenges on all fronts, and then we'd have several other engagements before we decide to go back to Parliament to change the legislation.
The newsroom understands that the government, on a subsequent date, will meet with more businesses and individuals, the labor movement, private sector representative bodies, and first-tier contractors, among others operating in the oil and gas sector. Some 500 companies have already been granted local content certificates to operate in the sector, even as Jack Dio pointed out that while many have attained the 51% ownership necessary, there have been maneuvers to flout the law.